Hi, it's Sandy from Sandy Empowers, and welcome to day 53 of the Visibility Challenge. So, whose life are you living? And this may seem like a strange question. I'm not implying that you're living in someone else's body or that they are in you. But the life that you're living is based on the thoughts, the feelings, the opinions, the judgments, the direction, the expectations, all of the values of everybody else that you have been surrounded with, particularly when you were younger. So it may have come from family and friends, but particularly from things like school, perhaps church or something like that. And you've been directed into a path, a life path, that perhaps you haven't chosen consciously for yourself. You may have got good marks at school, so that led you on a certain thing. If you got particularly high marks, it may have led you into medicine or law or something like that. And if you got lower marks, perhaps you were directed in another funnel to another course of action. And maybe the thing that you loved to do most, the thing that you really enjoyed or were most good at in your own thoughts, was not the way that you were led. And so once we're on a path, we tend to keep going on that path. It's like the expectation that we have, but also that others have for us, is what keeps us going on that path. And we come across some setbacks or obstacles on the path, and we deal with those, we go around them, or maybe we change jobs, but we don't necessarily change the sort of work that we're doing or the general pattern of our lives. We get into a continuation of the same. It might have different details, but the basic drive, the basic ingredients are still the same, unless you've chosen to do something different. So just breathe that in. Your life is a continuing pattern of whatever's been fed into the mixing bowl, if you like, the funnel into you, of everybody else's thoughts and feelings and expectations and judgments, and perhaps what your parents wanted to do but weren't able to do, that they put into you, what society expected, how you were brought up to be, the good girl, for example, which is one of the things that I was brought up to be, and what church, school, all of those things have impacted you. And so you continue on the same or a similar path until you consciously stop and consciously choose what you want. And the thing is that we're not even sure what we want. I know when I was looking at different options career-wise at some point, it's like I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't necessarily know what it looked like that I did want. So I'm here to offer you a different alternative. What would bring you, no matter where you are in your life, what would bring you the most joy and the most love and the most satisfaction, the most success, the most peace? And you'll notice that those words are different to the words that were used when you were younger. It wasn't about you should do this sort of work because so-and-so did that, or that's all you've known. It's not that you should go to university because your family went to university, or the expectation that you are the first person to go to university in the family, particularly if you're from overseas where there wasn't that opportunity and you get that opportunity here. And quite often our choices in the past, if we're not even calling them choices, but the way we were directed was based on perhaps money, how much you could earn, the security of the job, the prospects for progressing higher and doing better. And it had nothing to do with what did you like, what would you love to do, what gives you the most joy, what is your genius, what are your talents. And yes, we may have used some of our talents and skills, but perhaps our genius is something that wasn't recognized, that we don't even recognize. And the reason we don't recognize it is because it comes so easily to us. It's so natural to us that we just assume that everyone can do that, and we don't recognize it as something different. So this is something that I can definitely relate to, things that have come very easily to me, and particularly things that I say. At times people have said to me in the past, wow, you just said the right thing. And I was like, what did I say? I'm not aware that I'm giving out some genius tip or information or insight or whatever it is. I'm just talking. I just feel like I'm having a conversation like I am now. And the other thing is that even though we've been directed into something which logically seems like a good fit, for me, my first job was accounting. And logically, yes, if you want to go into business, that would be a good thing to know something about. It's something I could do part-time if I was going to have a family. It had good money, it was secure. The only problem was that I absolutely hated it. I did what I needed to do. I got my qualification as a chartered accountant, so that meant 3 years at university. It meant another 18 months with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and then it meant 3 years of ongoing continuous experience. And then, as soon as I got that, I was out. And looking back, yes, it was helpful. I understand a lot about business, but I'm not actually working in business in the conventional sense these days, because although I was good at that, although I was successful in many ways, and I was able to help people make a lot of money, that's not where my heart and my passion and my direction has gone in latter years. So I want you to consider, I invite you to consider, that just because you've been successful at something, or just because you've been on this particular path, whatever it is in your work or your life, that perhaps that's not all the possibilities that are available to you. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter that you have or haven't got something or other, whatever you consider that you need, like a qualification. What if you chose based on the infinite menu of possibilities? What if you said, I wonder how I could do something that included A, B, and C, and I wonder how much joy I could get from doing that? Because I really love this aspect, that aspect, some other aspect of doing things, but I don't have a name of what job or career or how I would put that together. So it's not your job to work out how to put that together. What if you just say, I wonder how I can put these skills, these abilities, these things I love to do together in a way that would be joyful, would create love in my life, something I love to do, or it might be to do with a relationship that would be satisfying, that I would feel successful at, and that would bring me peace. Perhaps it would bring me abundance, but I would feel more fulfilled. And when you choose consciously, and when you wonder about how that can all come together, rather than just automatically reacting and staying on the pattern and the path that you've been on to date, that's when the magic can happen. That's when you're being in your true power and tapping into the infinite possibilities. So I hope that's been helpful. Thank you for listening and watching.